So I'm just going to have a little fun with this video. I want you guys to know a little bit about me. I'm not always pissed off, okay? I'm not always pissed. But, as the saying goes, if you're not pissed off, you're not paying attention. And the attack on common sense anymore is just absolutely ridiculous. The double standards that are in place are just completely ridiculous. And the same media that's covered for all the serial rapists and pedophiles, just for so long, right, throwing their own under the bus right now to use that as fuel to create a perception, okay, that resigning is the correct thing to do when faced with an allegation. People forget all about things like innocent until proven guilty. They don't even know about the Constitution in many cases. Okay, the Constitution has been replaced by safe spaces and the hammer and sickle. And, that's just in universities just nationwide. They don't even know. They're not taught about the Constitution. And that's kind of where... That's the thing that really upsets me, because we are being led down that road. And everybody was preparing for Hillary Clinton to be president. Everybody, The same media right now that is, constantly slamming Trump when he's bringing millions of jobs back, trillions of dollars back into the economy. And just look at the stock market. And Donald Trump mentioned something about this at his rally a few days ago, that black home ownership is as high as it's ever been. Illegal border crossings down. We're keeping terrorists out of the country. And speaking of terrorists, it's funny that, in this country now, political correctness dictates that the crime is showing what the criminals do. It's not what the criminals actually do. It's not the crimes they commit. It's just when you talk about it, then that's the crime. You have Google and Twitter and Facebook cracking down on all these, you can't say the word, Islam. You can't talk about Islam in a negative light, despite the fact that these terrorists, use their religion as their catalyst, to rape, torture, and kill, and have for almost 1,500 years. But you can't talk about it. The crime is when you talk about it. It's not when you actually partake in it. And that's one of the things that just really pisses me off, because these are things that, could rally the country together, safety, prosperity, jobs, values. There's no values anymore. There's no, at least in the eyes of, the Democrat-controlled institutions, there's no values. They don't have values. Give me a break. It's like, all they have is their narratives and their hysteria. That's it. And they have their lies and their propaganda and their psychological operations and the trickle-down MK Ultra and the Project or Operation Mockingbird. It's... The media is infested with CIA. And then CIA officials have the audacity to say that WikiLeaks is a hostile intelligence agency, and if not for Julian Assange, and if not for WikiLeaks, there's a pretty good chance Trump wouldn't be president right now. With everything that we learned, with the Clinton emails and the Podesta emails, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And, Twitter, there was a study that came out where Twitter censored something like over 50% of hashtags, like Podesta files or Podesta emails or, WikiLeaks, where they were censoring all those hashtags, and not letting that information be known to people. But we're the authoritarians, right? We are the fascists, right? When that is the epitome, that is the Webster's dictionary definition of fascistic. They're the authoritarians, okay? They're the communists. They're the ones who literally control absolutely everything, and they say that they are the resistance. Newsflash, assholes, you cannot resist what you already control. They control every facet of like mainstream PC culture. You know, everything. You know, Hollywood, the box offices, professional sports, the mainstream media, and the trickle down effect into like Comedy Central, and you know, I mean, they have everything. They have everything, and the things that we have, you know, like Matt Drudge, Breitbart, Alex Jones, Infowars, Roger Stone. You know, these people, you know, are rampantly censored. Rampant. It's all over. And, you know, so this information, factual information with, you know, data that backs it up, you know, can't be seen by people. So it's like, you know, if all you've ever been told was that Trump is a this and a that, you know, a misogynist, a bigot, a xenophobe, you know, whatever label they want to put on him, and then they coincide that and they double that and triple that with edited video clips that, you know, show him saying those, you know, selected words, then of course that's what people are going to believe. Because people, more often than not, it seems anyways, maybe I'm not giving enough credit here, but it seems that more often than not, people just don't take the time to look things up for themselves. They just go along with whatever that herd think is. You know, and you see that a lot in the cities, in the inner cities, in the coastal, you know, like West Coast, East Coast, you know, because that's what the Democrats have become. They become that coastal elitist sort of party, you know, where it's just reinforced. You know, the insanity is reinforced. And especially by judges that let Kate Steinle's murderer get off scot-free. Now, I want you to just think about that for a minute. Just think about that. Kate Steinle's murderer gets off scot-free. You know, in a state that has the most regulated gun laws. So just think about that. You know, Kate Steinle's murderer gets off just, you know, completely free of any sort of even manslaughter charge. In the state that has the most regulated and you know, restricted gun laws in the entire United States, all because, okay, politically correct, you know, bullshit wouldn't allow him to serve jail time, to serve prison time. It just wouldn't reflect well on political correctness. You know, and where you have a gang of black teenagers that torture a mentally handicapped white kid. You know, it's, again, you know, they get a slap on the wrist with probation instead of prison time because, you know, political correctness doesn't, you know, dictate discipline. You know, it wouldn't reflect well, you know, on their narratives that they try to force feed the public. You know, and that's where the justice system is completely astray, excuse me. You know, it's completely broken. You know, it's like they shine a spotlight on all these injustices they want us to perceive as like an epidemic, you know, as far as like, you know, the KKK being, you know, a relevant hate group in the United States. It's just not. Neither are, you know, any sort of neo-Nazi party. They exist, okay, but, you know, statistically speaking, you know, just look at the city of Chicago, for example. Or look at the, you know, Antifa. You know, they are the forerunners by far, you know, with, you know, violence committed in the United States over the past couple years. You know, but they would have us believe that you have all these white police officers killing all these unarmed black men, and it happens all the time. And in reality, okay, statistically speaking, you know, federal statistically speaking, that's just not the case. It's just not the case. But most people don't have the thought to actually look into that for themselves. It's all about what that, you know, herd thought, you know, and herd think. You know, and when you have the DOJ and the Justice Department so politicized, where James Comey is drafting exoneration letters before there's an investigation, and Robert Mueller and that whole Russian probe, and all the people that are fired or resigned from that council that were anti-Trump, never-Trumpers. You know, it's so politicized. It's a joke. It's a joke. So you could be an illegal alien immigrant with multiple deportations on your record and kill a U.S. citizen and get off scot-free. You know, or you could be black and you could torture a mentally handicapped white person and get probation. Or you could be the head of the FBI and, you know, have Loretta Lynch tell you that don't call it an investigation, call it a matter. You could draft exoneration letters before there's an investigation. You could be the head of a special counsel investigating the president for Russian collusion when you hand-delivered weapons-grade uranium to the Russians on a tarmac in 2011, courtesy of, you know, the Russian agent herself, Hillary Clinton. That's how ass-backwards everything is. Everything is. So it's really difficult to take it seriously. But that's kind of where President Trump comes along. Because, you know, he is that Molotov cocktail into the swamp. But the swamp is so powerful. You know, for, 30 plus years, it's been growing in strength, growing in darkness. You know, so that's why it's so tough to take down. You know, and then we have to deal with censorship where people can't get access to good information. You know, so we have to launch all these channels and different channels, and we have to try to stay ahead of their algorithms and kind of stay in the shadows, while at the same time being relevant to people that want to hear us. So, if you happen to have stumbled across this video in your journey for the truth, or your journey for something that makes sense, hopefully I was able to kind of help you along, or at least sort of like turn a light bulb on. You know, at least sort of spark some sort of wonderment about what's actually going on in this country. Anyways, my name is Jeremy Kassab, and this is the Interceptor channel that you're watching. Please feel free to like my page on Facebook. I'm working with great patriots all over the country, and you know, our pursuit is just that of an organization, of a political organization that is not controlled. We are not controlled. 100% believe in free speech, whether you agree with me or you don't. And that is a staple of everything we believe in, because that is the Constitution. That is the United States of America. And that is the country, okay, that I want to live in, that we should all coexist in. Because coexisting is not slapping a coexist bumper sticker on the back of a Prius and thinking that you've done your good deed. Please like this channel, subscribe to this channel, and come visit us on Facebook. Thank you.